Hello, everybody. Welcome to your Championship Hot Takes for round 5, where there were plenty of draws towards the top of the division, taking advantage of that fact with good wins with Stoke and Bristol City. And unfortunately, Sheffield United fans down at the bottom, no prizes for guessing who the big losers were this round. And Ruben Sellers there still on 0 points as threat level gets, I don't know what is above, ultra high now for the new Blades manager. Get down there in the comments with your views on all things EFL Championship. Please, while you're down there, hit the thumbs up button and do subscribe to this channel. 52,000 of you have now. Right, let's start up at the top of the table where Middlesbrough got themselves a late point at Preston. Preston is proving quite the hard place to go this season. They've been really good at Deepdale, haven't they, North End? They've beaten Leicester, they've beaten Ipswich, and they nearly beat Middlesbrough here in the early yesterday. 92nd minute equaliser for the Boro. We put our poll out at 5 p.m. every Friday. You can go and comment on that each and every week. All the Boro fans are saying to me is, Ben, we would have lost that game last year under Carrick. Good resilience from Rob Edwards and Boro. Preston have been kind of coming out the blocks. They didn't score quite as early in this game as they did against Leicester and Ipswich. Great goal by Dobbin. Little Il Fenomeno original Ronaldo step over, go to the left, hit the shot. You love to see it. And well done, Rob Edwards, because subs making a difference here. Nipan, great assist for Target for the equaliser. Big set play goal. Preston get back into the lead as well. And then they come late. Hansen does the business. We thought Alan Brown, who played about 7,000 games for Preston in the Championship, had got the equaliser. It doesn't matter. Forced over the line, we think, by Hansen. So from a Preston point of view, first, you've got to be happy if you're a Preston fan with how competitive they are, especially at home, and especially given how last season ended. So even though the North End fans are going to be annoyed, didn't get the win having taken the lead in minute 88, I do think there's a lot to be positive about. And same really for Boro, especially with that narrative of extra solidity against a side that gets in your faces, starts well at home. And we said this in the fixture preview video that I did on Thursday. We looked at everyone's next 5 fixtures in this block going up to October international break. And what Middlesbrough have done by winning the first 4 games on the trot have given themselves that headroom where you can now go and draw a game. God forbid, you could go and draw another game. If you then won the next game, Boro would then still be at play 7 and they'd have 17 points. So they're in a really, really comfortable position here, Boro. Obviously, you can't go dropping points willy-nilly, but I don't think the Boro fans will be too unhappy. And you're looking to see different things, aren't you? And if the bench making an impact is something maybe we haven't seen yet, and if a resilient side to Boro, which a lot of people were arguing wasn't quite there under Carrick, is something we haven't seen there yet, then that's all positive. And of course, go figure, being top of the league after 5 games is very positive and well over the 2 point per game mark. So it's a positive start all round with Preston 2, Boro 2. And Stoke 1, Birmingham 0. And Stoke fans will be really, really pleased with the bounce back. Birmingham fans will be really, really disappointed with the lack of a bounce back here. Stoke are 4 wins from 5, which is frankly excellent. And of course, only Stoke and Boro have managed to execute that feat so far this season. Lawal with a big looping header. We've already 2 games. We've already spoken about set plays twice. Never forget in EFL football, actually in the Premier League as well now, the power of set plays. And do you know what I quite like about Stoke is I think they're going to be super, super consistent. That 11 we saw yesterday, I was kind of looking at the lineups. I think they'll be quite happy to ride that out all the way up until the January transfer window as and where they can. I think they know what they're doing, and they're just going to ride it out now under Mark Robins and try and benefit for one Stoke from, having the same manager and pretty much most of the same squad and team. I know, obviously, new faces in Mubama and Thomas have come in. So actually, Rigo started. Cresswell obviously slots in, but, he's hyper experienced, isn't he? But I'm loving the consistency from Stoke. And you just kind of know what you're going to get with Mark Robins. He's very straight down the line with the way he kind of delivers his messaging, certainly publicly. And if it's like that with the players, which we imagine it is, that I think Stoke might be pretty consistent now. And what pretty consistent means for Stoke at the moment is winning. So that's really good. And look, Birmingham is going to be a hard game for lots and lots of opponents. So Stoke, obviously, super positive. Bit of negativity for Birmingham here, really, because everything you say there about Stoke went into international break with a defeat, wanted to bounce back, get going in this next block. Birmingham fans would have wanted to say that about Blues, wouldn't they? Come back with a win. And they haven't. And I suppose the obvious pattern being pointed out is they're not really making that much in terms of chances and shots on goal. They had 0 shots on goal in this game. We always joke, you're going to be very lucky to get anything with 0 shots on target. You're looking at own goal to help you in that respect. But if you wind it back the previous 2 games, had 1 shot on target against Leicester and 1 shot on target against Oxford as well. So there's a problem here to solve for Birmingham. And I think the problem is that, and I'm quite surprised about this because Leicester are a year 1 parachute team, but I did the game as a watch along. They set up and showed Birmingham a hell of a lot of respect, came in narrow, compact, and pretty deep actually, and did a job on them. The previous game was Gary Rowett and Oxford, who we know are going to low block and try and be hard to beat this season. And this is Mark Robins. So 3 in a row. Again, surprised that Leicester make up one of those. But hey, they got the win, didn't they? 3 in a row where Birmingham have had to kind of stand up against teams that basically are happy to go, okay, have the ball, pass the ball around, do your pretty patterns of play, and we won't concede very many shots. So Birmingham have got a problem to solve here. And at the moment, Chris Davies needs to find an answer for low block teams. And I don't know, can you be a little bit overcoached? If you come out of League One with the biggest budget in League One history and you're able to really double, triple, quadruple down on your pattern of play and manoeuvring the ball, and in the end the chances are going to come and you're going to get the wins, then maybe there's no need for the chaos player, the dribbler, the long range shooter, the I don't know, whoever's going to just unlock the door by going off the cuff a little bit, off the game plan. Maybe there's a bit of a sense of that, because I think they've got the quality up front. It's not like Birmingham have bad forwards. That's not why they're having shots. I think it's a problem to solve in terms of circumstance, opponents, and what has come previously in League One. It'd be fascinating. I think Chris Davies is a super smart guy. Unfortunately, he hasn't been as super smart as Mark Robins and Marty Cifuentes. Maybe that's just the experience at the level rather than ability or tactical smarts. But yeah, a problem to solve for Birmingham. And Stoke, power on with 12 points from 5 games. Very, very good indeed. Birmingham dropped to 11th. And Southampton could overtake them with a win later on today. Right, Bristol City. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Bristol City 3. And again, I'll refer you back to the video on Thursday where, we had a look at everybody's fixtures. And I got quite excited for Bristol City fans when I saw their fixtures coming up. We kind of pointed at them. To be fair, I think we pointed at Watford as well, and they lost. But we'll take the Bristol City one, where we were looking: Sheffield Wednesday, Oxford, Preston, Ipswich, QPR, a couple of home games in there. The 3-game week playing out nicely with the double home game as well coming up. And they've got off to a good start with a 3-0 win here. Bristol City undefeated up to 3rd. and scoring loads of goals. And we saw this roadmap from Stoke, didn't we, when they went up to Hillsborough, where there's a fragility about Sheffield Wednesday and about Hillsborough and the Wednesday fan base. Completely understandable given what's gone on over the summer. And there's this idea that you can grab an early goal and it just kills it, kind of, doesn't it? That's what Stoke did, and they went on and won. Did Stoke win 3-0 or 3-1? I can't remember, but they got an early goal and I think cracked in 3 goals in the end. And this is what Bristol City did. And if you watch the highlights, a lot of it is Sheffield Wednesday trying to clear their lines and press, win it back. I think the first couple of goals were very much like that. Own goal by Amas, and then Emil Rees getting the second one. Mehmeti, it's poor on the back post, isn't it? Defensive-wise, gets the third goal. I think I'm right in saying, correct me Bristol City fans, I think they might have had 3 goals from 2 shots on target at minute 32 when Mehmeti got the third. So they are being hyper good in front of goal. If you remember, scored 4 on opening day, didn't they? City. They scored 4 against Preston, Ashton as well. And they've scored 3 today. So they're averaging 2.4 goals per game. So I know we're all going to sit there and talk about hard to play against good pressing. They're scoring loads of goals, which is kind of the object of football, isn't it? Kick the ball in the goal. Very, very good indeed. And with that, you now have Mehmeti and Rees joining Twine on 3 goals. So great start from Bristol City. And you start to say as well, I thought they'd tail off, I've got to be honest, after last season. But you can now run the reverse argument to me that I was saying they punched above their weight, so there'll be a natural regression to the mean. If they're starting to win now, flip that around and say, okay, these players, the bulk of the team is the same from last season, isn't it? These players have been winning championship games for a good deal of 2025, hasn't they? So, yeah, flip it round, and well done Bristol City, and really well done Struber, because I didn't think it would be going this well at this point, given, the regression to the mean, the punching above weight argument last season. So, yeah, fair play. Impressive stuff from Bristol City. And can they roll on into this block of fixtures and keep it going? Sheffield Wednesday's a bit depressing, actually, isn't it? And it has been. I know Sam has been quite positive, saying, look, Ben, they've got siege mentality. They're going to get points. Well, they're not. They've got 1 point so far at Wrexham. And I just had a little look back when I was researching. They haven't been in the lead in a game since opening day. Do you remember that shocker when they took the lead at Leicester? Ultimately, they went on to lose that game, didn't they? But they're just not able to take games by the scruff of the neck and get themselves in front, are they, Wednesday? So the struggle is real. Let's talk about Oxford 2, Leicester 2. And I think if you just saw the scoreline, you would say golden chance missed by Leicester. But when you realise there's a red card in minute 24 of this game for Leicester, you say the opposite. You say golden chance missed for Oxford. I haven't listened to Gary Rowett's interview yet, but I'm sure he'll be saying, bit disappointed with that one. I know when you pair up Oxford and Leicester in terms of squad, budget, etc., you have Leicester coming out on top, but it's 10 against 11 for 70 minutes if you include all the stoppage time. And I suppose this is the difficult thing where you get a manager like Rowett who does set up to be hard to beat. When the onus is all of a sudden on you, you've got the extra man, go ahead, go and win the game. I don't know, it becomes difficult. It's difficult to play against 10 sometimes. It's a bit of a confusing situation for footballers often when they're so used to being man for man. But yeah, so it was Aaron Ramsey, hefty tackle. I guess he's got excessive force on that one. I understand that one for the red card. I think there was already a couple of goals at that point. Good news for Oxford is Lancashire's banging the goals in. Has he got 3 or 4 now? Lancashire. He started very, very well Indeed, yeah. Matches 5, goals 3. So that's highly, highly positive for Oxford. I don't want to urinate on your chips, Oxford, but the only thing I will say is often players do get redirected in January if they're playing for bottom half championship teams and doing very, very well. So let's hope Lancashire has no awful break clauses in that loan deal that we don't know about. IU gets the equaliser. So annoying, that one for Oxford as well, because architects of their own downfall with I think it's Brannigan actually, who looks after the ball very well with a bit of a dodgy pass back there. IU gets the goal. Then we get the red card. And then Oxford take the lead just before half-time. So it's all set up, and they'll be so disappointed not to go on and win the game, won't they? And Pereira is a goal machine, apparently, the fullback, or sometime he used to tuck in and play central midfield, didn't he, under Maresca when Leicester were last in the Championship. Really good goal, this. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you've got an extra man. If you're on a attack and you can move the ball as quickly as Leicester did, get a nice overload. Good finish as well by Pereira. And yeah, your narrative is straightforward. Oxford will be disappointed. They're still without a win. Big chance missed. And Leicester, Sheff Utd, I just watched his post-match saying, well, look, I'm never happy with a draw, but I'm happy with a draw, if you know what I mean, given the circumstance. Yeah, get your thoughts in on those opening 4 matches. We'll move on to the next. I've got a West Brom badge up there. Should probably have a Derby badge up there, because apparently Derby love to play against West Brom. And they've got themselves the win here. Was it a bit smashy and grabby? You don't care, Derby fans, do you? Yeah, I'm looking at the old attack momentum graph here. It's a Eustace special, ladies and gentlemen. 0.32 XG, 1 shot on target, 32% possession, 3 points. Hey? Got the job done there, Derby. Andy Vyman. A classic Championship name, Vyman. I had a little looky. I make it he's played 12 straight seasons in the Championship with quite a lot of different clubs, and he nabs the goal. And I mean, you love it if you're an away fan in this thing. You sat in the away end and you're conceding chances and you're thinking, might not be getting anything today. And then the game goes on and you think, hang on a minute, we're still in this. If we get a chance, might be able to nick this one. And that's what Derby did. It's the first win of the season, Derby. And I suppose the narrative has been get the injured players back and start building from there. I don't know, did they have many of the injured faces back? Brereton Diaz started. That's not an injured face. That's a player coming in. Salverson there on the bench, I can see. Agyemang off the bench as well. In fact, he got the assist for the goal. So look, if you're a Derby fan as well, you're saying... sorry, struggling with my voice this morning. So I keep drinking. You're saying, okay, this is heading in the right direction. And all the prognostications that Derby weren't going to be quite where they were struggling last season maybe will be coming to pass fairly soon. West Brom, they're going to be irritated by this one. And maybe I need to say the same thing for Ryan Mason as I said about Chris Davis, where you've got a manager reasonably new to the league and you are going to come up against the John Eustace and Mark Robbins, Gary Rowett and Marty Cifuentes, people who know the deal and who in-game can just do a little bit of a number on you. And that appears to be exactly what's happened here. So I'm sure we'll get a lot of, and I'm not saying it's trite, but we'll get a lot of trust the process. We play that game another 3 times. We probably win it 3 of them. But, you know, you got to play the game in front of you. And the game in front of you was won by Derby County. And, yeah, missed opportunity actually for West Brom because had they have got in front and probably could have got the win, couldn't they? They'd have been on 13 points and they would have been joint top given all the draws elsewhere. They're the only loser there in the top 9 there in the Championship, West Brom. Disappointing one. Coventry won, Norwich won. And this is where you quote Alex Ferguson and you say, football, bloody hell. Because we covered a Coventry game a few weeks ago where every single shot they had went in and they beat QPR 7-1 and they were on absolute fire. Well, in this one, they created an XG of, I think, like 4.02. How many shots did they have? 28 shots. And they come away with a point. And it's that classic, isn't it? You say, oh, just one of those goals that flew in against QPR. Can we swap? Just win that game 6-1 and we'll have a 2-1 in this one. But Norwich turned up and nabbed a point from Coventry. Sargent didn't score. Shock, horror. He started and didn't score, which is going to be a rarity this season in the Championship. Kvistgarden got his first goal. That's good news for Norwich. And I suppose the only other good news, maybe the Norwich fans will say, oh, okay, got a point in testing circumstances, but yeah, not massively viable, is it? Sorry, I said 4xG for Coventry. I swear that was 4xG. I wrote it down last night. It's now saying 3.68. Someone's taken some XG away from Coventry. Hey, I know subscribers here who wish to take XG away from everything, but ho-hum. It's a fun little stat that I like to look at. And yeah, the story is obvious in this game. Coventry had loads of possession, 64%, loads of shots, and couldn't get their shooting boots on. Coventry, the top scorers in the league. So, look, sometimes you get days like this. I'm still saying, if you're a Coventry fan, this is extremely viable stuff. You would much rather be... Well, you tell me. We just spoke about Derby having not that much possession and nicking a win. You'd rather be Coventry, wouldn't you? And be viably controlling games, making loads of chances. Historically through this season, 5 games gone, scoring lots and lots of goals. And you might get the odd one where it doesn't quite work out. So it's annoying if you're a Coventry fan, but still, I think the long-term... So you're always looking for patterns, aren't you, in football to tell you what's going to happen. And a general pattern is a team that consistently makes lots and lots of chances will end up high up the league. They'd have to be very unlucky not to, or have terrible strikers. And Coventry do not have terrible strikers. In fact, had you right, is he the top scorer in the division now after that one, or is it still Sargent? I can't quite remember. But yeah, so a bit of an irritating one for Coventry. They drew 1-1 with Norwich. Swansea 2, Hull 2. Was this a 97th minute equaliser for Hull that was deserved? It does look like they really went for it in the second half. They had 5 shots on target alone in the second half. And again, Swansea will be... You're always disappointed when you concede a 97th minute equaliser at home, and they would have been at 2 points per game if they'd won this one. They were on 8 points. They would have been at 10 points, Swansea. And, I mean, as it is, Swansea are playing well, aren't they? They've got 8 points from the last 4. So if you chalk off the defeat on opening day, which was away at Boro are top of the league, things are looking good for Swansea under Alan Sheehan. Vipotnik, who, as I said a couple of weeks ago, is younger than I think and is starting to score goals. McBurney, he did the non-celebration thing. I know he used to play for Swansea. Celebrate the goal, mate. Come on. It's all right. You're allowed. No one's going to get too cross at you. Ronald also scored. And you start to look at Vipotnik and Ronaldo, who've both scored in a couple of games this season, and think, okay, these are players that are now settled in the Championship, a good age, delivering. Are you now starting to build stars, Swansea, which is what you have to do if you don't have to parachute payments in the Championship. John Egan gets the equaliser. A nice Chris Wilder, more from him later, Sheffield United theme to McBurney and Egan scoring for Hull. So, yeah, they needed that, Hull, didn't they? Back-to-back defeats. All I will say about Hull that's a little bit alarming, and can I include let me include an EFL Cup game as well, just to illustrate my point. Last 5 games for Hull, conceded 3-2, 3-4-2. Can we see a 0 or a 1 in the goals against column for Hull? I need to see that. If not, very, very leaky indeed. And let's move on to Wrexham 1, QPR 3. And I always look at the comments in the poll. It's a really good, if you can help me out in that poll that I put up on Friday from fans. And I saw one from a QPR fan. It's brilliant. It's like back-to-back wins after the 7-1. And now it's like, playoffs, maybe? It's great how it flips, isn't it? You know, you got a new manager in you. You have a difficult start. You have a 7-1. Nobody wants to have a 7-1. I get that. But then things can change. And I don't know. Is the thing that changed that they've just got Richard Kone on the pitch now? We said it could be quite an exciting looking front four for QPR, didn't we? And Kone, it took a while for them to get him on the pitch, but he's there now. And it's an interesting one, actually, because Dembele's not in it. Saito, Kone, Vale and Burrell. But yeah, Sam Parkin is definitely going to compare Kone to Les Ferdinand. I was having a joke with him about it. What a goal by Kone in this one, by the way. Own goal from Cody to begin with. Kone, though, slams one in the... Go on. I'll let you do it, QPR fans. You can type in the two words, Les and Ferdinand, in the comments if you want. But that was very Celez, wasn't it? Just sheer power and slamming it in the top corner. Big Kiefer gets one back for Wrexham. And I don't want to dig out Connor Cody, who's been a great player. But did you see the foot race between Burrell and Cody for this third goal? It's like Roadrunner running around poor old Cody, who's treading water at the back there. And I suppose that brings us a little bit to Wrexham. No, we'll get to Wrexham in a second. But yeah, well done, QPR. Well done, Julian Stefan, as well. You know, that's the only way, isn't it? You lose 7-1. The only thing you can do to swing the narrative is to win back-to-back straight afterwards. And they won 3-1 in both the games, and they look like they've got a really good one in Kone, because I know a lot of Championship clubs would have looked at Kone from Wickham. First half of last season, brilliant. Second half of last season, not quite so good. And maybe that's why people passed on him and QPR got him. But yeah, he looks a player, doesn't he? He looks a player. So let's talk about Wrexham, because you'll hear me say this a lot. And I know I'll get it's too early to say that. But 4 points from 5 games at any point in the season, you will hear me say, if you take any sample size, 1 point per game or fewer is relegation form. 5 games, 10 games, 3 games, 46 games, whatever, it's relegation form. If someone's got 2 points per game, I'll say that's promotion form. So anybody with fewer than 5 points at the moment, which is the Championship bottom 4, I will say, well, they're kind of in relegation form. Normally that would get you relegated. So yeah, Phil Parkinson's got a problem here, because even at the start of the season, when I was doing the Sportsman Untitled podcast, that narrative was coming up straight away. Oh, Parkinson, who's not very Disneyfied, if he goes on a bad run, you know exactly what people are going to say straight away, that there's money there. You can't go on a bad run if you're a Wrexham manager, can you? And yeah, they've not started well. 4 points from the first 5 games, just the 1 win, 3 defeats obviously so far. Here is another one, and we said it, didn't we? They're set up with 3 at the back and head it, kick it. Cody in the middle of it. That's not necessarily fair to say that about Doyle or Cleworth, but I mean, it's not working if you're scoring 4 points in 5 games. So one of two things is going to happen here: either it will start working and they will be over 1 point per game, or Phil Parkinson's got a problem with an ambitious ownership, and he doesn't want that to be part of the next Disney documentary. So yeah, keep your eye on that. Let me just have a look here. What's coming up for Wrexham? They go to Norwich, then they're at home to Derby. They go to Leicester, and then it is Birmingham to round it out. Need a couple of wins in that little block of 4 games, don't they, Wrexham? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about Charlton 1, Millwall 1. I'm not going to talk too much because I did this game yesterday as a watch-along. So I've already spoken about it for over 2 hours on the channel, and it's a simple one. It's a red card turning the game. It was very derby-y in terms of a South London derby, very fierce, very tight. Charlton have got their noses in front in the first half. I can't remember who scored the goal, for God's sake. Carey, volley, right foot. And the game changes on a red card, doesn't it? Back end of the game, 74 minutes, second yellow for Kane Ramsey. And yeah, Bangura Williams then gets the equaliser for Millwall. I don't know. Be interested in Millwall fans' take on this, because I'm sure Charlton fans will all say the answer is yes. But Millwall fans, if the game had stayed 11 versus 11, would Charlton have gone on to win? I don't know. Bit of a lack of patience here with Alex Neil as well. I think. It's always easy to have your crystal ball afterwards when someone then gets sent off and you've already subbed Ivanovic off, and who came with him? Negley as well. So he took off a couple of a creative player and a goal scorer there when you needed a goal. So I don't know. I think Alex Neil's a good manager, but yeah, then when the red card comes out, everyone's like, you now need to break down 10 men. Could have done with those players on the pitch. But yeah, Millwall's results have been strange this season, haven't they? Because they've lost at home, won away. So now this is a draw going in away. And if you take the away wins out from a team that's losing home games, then yeah, the trend will be down. So something to look at there for Millwall. And Charlton, I think I'm not just buying what Nathan Jones is saying in the presses and stuff, but I do actually agree with him that they're in games and they have one victory so far. They probably could have at least one more, couldn't they? I feel like they've lost and drawn games that they've been very much in. I mean, think about that one against Leicester where Fatari just bends one in the top corner. So, yeah, a little bit of a sense of there might be a trend up for Charlton. And yeah, with Millwall, it's normally the other way around. Winning home games, and can they pick up points away from home was a traditional problem, particularly under Gary Rowett in certain seasons. So, yeah. Well, there you go. And you can check back my reactions to everything on that in the watch-along footage from yesterday. On Friday night, Ipswich Town won 5-0. And I was in Nottinghamshire playing a gig. So I didn't get to see the game, which was pretty annoying, given my lot won 5-0. There's obviously another big story angle to this, because they beat Sheffield United 5-0. And Sheffield United have a very beleaguered manager now in Ruben Sellers, because they have played 5, lost 5, 0 points. Look at that, scored 1 against 12. We'll talk about Sheffield United in a minute, but am I buying another manager's press conferences? Of course I am, because it's Kieran McKenna, and he said this is kind of the start now for this group. And some will say he's just making excuses for the opening 4 games. But I think if you're being kind of reasonable about it, he's right, isn't he? It's difficult with the year 1 parachute teams in terms of churn. And it often doesn't settle until after the September international break. That's not an Ipswich theory. That's a Championship calendar theory, and the silly system we have with the window closing a month into the season. But when you actually look at the fact that for Ipswich, they're able to now start Matasiwa and Kayust, Akpom and McAteer also starting, Furlong starting, all players that have arrived. And then you also look that Nunes, Azon, Ageli, Kipre were all on the bench. So plenty of, 14 or something? Was it 14 outs? 11 ins? I can't remember. Plenty of those new faces in for Ipswich. Hat-trick, Jaden Philogene. Really good hat-trick as well, wasn't it? I think when you see the 2 with the right foot and then he slams the one in the top corner with the left foot, you're like, okay. And Philogene is one Ipswich tried to get in the summer last year in the Premier League, had to wait until the January window, and then he got injured. We know he was really good at this level for Hull, put great numbers up, and yeah, could he now start to do the same? I mean, there's no better numbers you can stick up than banging in 3 goals. Cue the comments and you can score 4 goals, man. But you know what I'm saying, people look at assists and key passes and things. Well, a hat-trick kind of trumps most things in football, so brilliant from Philogene. Hurst gets one as well, and then Jack Clark comes off the bench and scores. And hopefully, we got a lot of comments whenever we did Ipswich for Leeds and Sunderland fans saying, "Oh, what's happened to Jack Clark? You destroyed him," and all this stuff. And it's like, chill out. Premier League is hard. Let's see what happens in the Championship. And he's got a couple of goals now, and he seems to be getting moving. And Ipswich seem to be getting moving. And as was doing the rounds on Twitter, it's the haves and the have-nots with the parachute teams off the bench for Ipswich. Nunes and former Championship top scorer Smodics, followed by Azon, Clark and Egeli, the most expensive signing by a Championship club in the history of the division. So, Ipswich in the haves column now, and a big win. Yeah, just need to get moving now through the autumn, don't they? And the target will be a long run of sticking 2 points per game on the board. That's the standard expected of year 1 parachute team. Sheffield United are a year 2 parachute team, and the standard expected from them is not to have 0 points from 5 games. And I don't know even if this becomes a football conversation, does it? Because sometimes you just see this where a manager goes in and it's just a disaster, isn't it? And I like Sellers. I thought he'd do well. I predicted Sheffield United to be 3rd, I think, right up there. And yeah, sometimes if you get the wrong guy at the wrong time, potentially following the wrong guy as well, it just won't work. And however you slice and dice it, and I mean, these are not bad football players. Tanganga, McGuinness, I know, are new. They're good Championship defenders. You can see Matos has just come in. Burrows was great last season. Cooper was great last season. Peck came in and did a turn. O'Hare, Barry, okay, maybe unproven. O'Hare is proven. Cannon, maybe unproven. Look, maybe there's an argument there's a few expensive, unproven players in there. Not sure why. The most proven player, the Championship Player of the Year, Gus Harmer, is on the bench there. Hey, maybe there's an injury reason that Blades fans can explain to me. But, yeah, this might be a case of it's the wrong guy at the wrong time, following the wrong guy, and this is doomed. I don't want that to be the case. I'd like to think that any football manager gets the requisite amount of time to kind of fix it, but man, Sam on the Championship check-in always has his 6 straight defeats rule, doesn't he? And we are 1 game away from that any manager, even Pep Guardiola, you can't do 6. I mean, they've already done 6 straight defeats if you count the EFL Cup. I play Charlton in the next game, and they have to win. I mean, if he makes it to the next game, they just have to win. Got Charlton and Oxford. So you can look at that one of 2 ways. You can, I know some people will say, well, that's the time to make a managerial change because the new manager's got a couple of soft games. But the other way around is that you've put a manager in there. It probably cost you a lot of money to get rid of him after 5 games, and you're now playing 2 sides that, Charlton and Oxford, obviously, we had the utmost respect for, but that have been in League One in recent times when Sheffield United have been in the Premier League in recent times. So keep your eye on it. I'm sure for a lot of Blades fans, it's done. They don't want Sellers. They don't think it's going to work. They might be right. It might never work. We'll never know if they sack him, though, but yeah, just keep your eye on Sheffield United Twitter across the week. And I normally have a rule with these things where if you get through Monday, then we're probably going with Sellers because, what are you waiting for? But yeah, we'll see. Let's move on. Who am I talking about next? Why is there a QPR badge up there? We've already done QPR. I got my stuff in the wrong order. Does that mean I missed somebody out up there? What should that QPR badge be? I think it should be a Blackburn. We've got a Blackburn badge there. I don't know. Have I missed someone's badge out? Probably have. I better not miss a game out. I've done Wrexham QPR, haven't I? Done Ipswich and Sheffield United. I should be doing, Watford and Blackburn and Oxford and Leicester. Well, there you go. Maybe I missed someone's badge out on the previous page. Anyway, I'm supposed to be talking about Watford 0, Blackburn 1 here. Yeah, that is my last game, isn't it? Please tell me I've covered all the games here. Watford 0, Blackburn 1. I can't make head nor tail of these two sides, I've got to say. I also can't make head nor tail of why a game at Vicarage Road is occurring with Watford wearing blue and Blackburn wearing kind of goldy yellow. I don't know what went on with the kits there. But these two sides have already got 5 defeats between them. I'm not entirely sure either are in a consistent groove. Although, to be fair, Blackburn have won 2 in 3. So they have rolled out 6 points across 3 games, which makes them kind of in decent form over a very short period of time, in my humble opinion. Watford now haven't won in 3 and have relied a little bit on Iran Kunda smacking free kicks in the top corner, haven't they? Blackburn, it's an all Japanese goal, this one, isn't it? Akashi put the ball through to, sorry, my pronunciation here, Morishita for the goal in this one in the second half. Well taken. First start for Morishita, first goal. I know he came in off the bench. It looked like a fairly open game, but only with the 1 goal there. So, I don't know. Watford fans, Blackburn fans, are you getting any kind of pattern from either of the clubs here? I don't know. Is it going to be a bit hodgepodgey, or can you see a consistent run of form for either? And you don't want that consistent run of form to be consistent defeats there. Right. I think I've done it, even though I've confused myself with my graphic being wrong up there. I'm just scanning down here. I think that is all 12 Championship. No, I know what I'm confused by. There hasn't been 12 fixtures yet because it's Southampton Portsmouth in a few hours as we are recording. There you go. There's only been 11 games. What an idiot I am. You can comment on... Well, no, don't do that. Don't do that. That would just make me sad, won't it? Why don't you comment on your team's game so far this round, if they indeed have played already? Obviously, I've just figured out that Pompey Saints is later on today. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts on the games so far. Stoke and Bristol City, the only winners there in the top 9. Middlesbrough showing resilience to stay up at the top of the table. Norwich kind of smashy and grabby a bit at Coventry. Derby kind of smashy and grabby a bit at West Brom. We'll be happy with those results. Ipswich with a big 5-0. Lots of draws. Sheffield United, threat level ultra high for Ruben Sellers. Get in the comments, and I'm still in negotiations here. I may see you later on today for a watch-along for the South Coast Derby. Our final game, as I've just managed to figure out, Saints versus Pompey. Get in the comments, get subscribing, get thumbs up, and I'll see you when I see you. Let's just say that.